Beloved soul, there's a reason this message has found you. It's not an accident, it's not a coincidence, and it certainly isn't just another video. This is a divine interruption, an urgent tap on the shoulder from the realms above. And Archangel Gabriel has chosen this moment to speak what your spirit has been silently needing to hear. He speaks. They left you, but heaven never did. You felt it. That sharp turning of their back, the emptiness that echoed after they disappeared, the silence that wasn't just quiet, it was rejection. They didn't explain, they didn't stay, they didn't even look back. And yet here you are, still breathing, still carrying love in a heart that was mishandled because your soul wasn't broken, it was being strengthened. Say this aloud: I survived the absence, I survived the silence, I am still standing. Type still here if your spirit has kept walking despite the weight. Gabriel continues. You were not left because you were unworthy. You were left because your presence carried a frequency they could not withstand. Your love was too deep. Your truth too sharp. Your energy too sacred to be consumed by those who only came to take and never to tend. They mistook your compassion for compliance. They thought your silence meant surrender. But they were wrong. Because while they were walking away, heaven was moving closer. Yes, closer. Every tear you cried alone was seen. Every prayer you whispered at 3 a.m. when the pain felt louder than your hope was heard, not by man, but by the divine. Gabriel says, you think they left because you lacked something, but they left because you reflected everything they refused to become. Let that settle. You weren't the problem. You were the mirror, and some people cannot handle their own reflection. Say this aloud: I am not too much. They were not enough. Type, no more shrinking if you've spent years making yourself smaller, just to keep others comfortable. Beloved, this message reaches you not just to validate your pain, but to redirect your power, because something is happening behind the scenes, and the one who left, the one who dismissed your worth, is starting to see it. Yes, they regret it. They feel the void where your light used to be. They sense the stability they abandoned. They scroll through old photos. They replay old moments. They question if maybe they let go of something sacred, and they did. Gabriel whispers, regret is not repentance and longing is not love. You must hear this clearly. Just because someone misses your presence doesn't mean they are meant to re-enter your life, because not every return is a rescue. Some are retests. Some are traps designed in familiarity's clothing, and this is where heaven draws the line. You are not meant to reopen doors that God Himself sealed shut. Say this: I do not return to what God delivered me from. Type sealed by heaven if your spirit knows some exits were really elevations. Gabriel continues, be alert, beloved, because when light starts to rise, darkness tries to imitate. That message you're about to receive, that apology sliding into your inbox, that unexpected phone call from a voice you buried, it is not always what it seems. The enemy doesn't always show up with horns. Sometimes he shows up with nostalgia, with charm, with soft words and trembling hands. But pay attention. If their fruit hasn't changed, neither has their function. And heaven is not in the business of sending you in circles. You were called to climb, not to loop. Say this now: I refuse to repeat a cycle disguised as a second chance. Type, no more loops if your soul has learned the cost of going back. Beloved, this message is not about bitterness, it's about boundaries. You are allowed to miss someone and still not let them return. You are allowed to forgive and still refuse. Access. You are allowed to have a heart and still protect it. Gabriel confirms. You are not harsh for protecting what God has healed. You are wise. And that wisdom is what marks this season. The one who left may return. They may weep, they may beg, they may claim change, and they may very well mean it. But the question is not, do they miss you? The question is, has heaven reassigned them to you? Because unless God says reopen that gate, you must stand firm. Say this aloud, not every knock deserves an answer. Type, I guard what's sacred if your spirit agrees with heaven's timing, not human emotion. Beloved, you are entering a time where clarity will be your greatest compass. Don't let longing override discernment. Don't let loneliness dilute wisdom. Don't let memory make you misstep. This is the moment where you choose forward, even if it feels unfamiliar, because God is not returning you to what was. He's releasing you into what will be. Gabriel closes this message with fire. You are not walking alone. You are being escorted by angels, and what's coming next makes the past look like a shadow. Stay alert, stay whole, stay sealed. The next part of this message will reveal why some doors are closing right now and what heaven is preparing in the background while you remain still. Beloved soul, this is the moment where your strength is not in moving forward, but in not going back. Archangel Gabriel speaks again. Regret has a voice, but so does discernment. One pulls you toward what's familiar, the other guards what is sacred. There will come a knock, and it may sound like love. It may sound like apology. It may even sound like healing. But listen, child, sound can deceive, fruit cannot. They say they've changed. They say they miss you. They say they didn't know what they had. But the same mouth that once called you a burden now calls you a blessing. Be still. Be wise, because not every I'm sorry means I'm safe now, and not every I miss you means I've healed. Say this aloud. I will not be fooled by familiar language. I trust heaven's discernment more than human. Emotion. Type, I discern beyond emotion if you've learned to look past the surface. Beloved, when they left, it hurt. When they forgot your worth, it shattered you. But don't forget what heaven showed you during that silence. Don't forget the strength you built when no one clapped for you. Don't forget how you stood, not because someone loved you, but because God sustained you. You didn't just survive heartbreak. You survived the echo that came after. The what-ifs, the maybe I should call them, the maybe they're the one. Gabriel reminds you, the one heaven chooses will not bring confusion but clarity. This is your moment to choose clarity over chaos, to choose peace over patterns, to choose forward over familiar. Say this now. I do not return to what confused me. Type, no more confusion if you've decided that clarity is now your standard. Beloved, you need to hear this. Some of them do regret it, but not because they love you, because they lost access to you. There's a difference. They miss the peace you gave them. They miss the prayers. They miss the safe place you were, but they don't miss honoring you. They miss consuming, not covering. They miss being held, not holding. They miss the version of you that tolerated their inconsistency. But that version no longer exists. Gabriel says, the return of a familiar voice is not confirmation. It's a test. Yes, beloved, a test. Will you open the door you once cried to escape from? Will you invite in the very storm you finally outlasted? Will you forget the fire just because the flame now flickers with softer words? Or will you stay sealed because heaven is watching not to punish but to promote? You are standing at the threshold of something new, but thresholds require trust. Trust that what's ahead is more sacred than what's behind. Say this. If God has closed the door, I won't break the seal. Type, I walk forward sealed if your obedience matters more than your nostalgia. Beloved, you're not the same person anymore. The version of you that loved them no longer lives in this timeline. Because elevation doesn't just change your location, it changes your language, your longings, your limits. What you used to crave now feels like compromise. What you used to chase now looks like chains. Gabriel declares, they don't miss you. They miss what you allowed, but your boundaries have become your blessing. And you must not lose that. This next season is not about replacing what left. It's about recognizing what's coming. Because God is not trying to return what broke you. He's preparing to reveal what builds you. Say this aloud. I do not mourn what God has removed. Type, grateful for the goodbye if you've stopped calling divine protection loss. Beloved, they thought you'd wait. They thought your love would always be their escape route. They thought they could walk away, taste the world, and return when it suited them. But now they realize you're no longer standing in the same place. You've moved spiritually, emotionally, energetically. You've expanded, and they feel it. Not in their head, in their gut. That ache they carry. And is not love, it's lack. The lack of your prayers, the lack of your wisdom, the lack of your covering. And some will try to re-enter not because they've been assigned, but because they're empty. But you are not a reservoir for someone else's. Irresponsibility. Say this now, I do not entertain what heaven has evacuated. Type, I protect what's pure if you refuse to carry what tried to crush you. Beloved, there is a new sound coming, a new love, a new friendship, a new mission. But it cannot arrive if your door is still cracked for what once violated your peace. You are not being mean, you are being mature, you are not bitter, you are boundary marked. Gabriel finishes this part with warning and wisdom. The ones who regret leaving will always want to return, but wisdom does not wait for regret. It moves at the speed of heaven. Don't wait for them to understand. Don't wait for them to change. Don't wait for them to see your worth. You see it now, and that's what matters. Say this aloud, my value does not depend on their vision. Type, I'm enough without their apology. If you know your worth isn't negotiable, this chapter doesn't end with revenge. It ends with release. Let them regret. Let them reflect. Let them wonder. But as for you, you're walking into part 3, where Archangel Gabriel will reveal what's coming next and why your no was the most sacred yes heaven ever heard. Beloved soul, you've been asking the same question in silence. Why did it all fall apart right when it felt real? Gabriel answers, you know, because it was never yours. It was only your lesson. Yes, it looked divine. Yes, it felt deep. Yes, it echoed everything you thought love should be. But heaven saw something deeper than your heart could. And when heaven closes a door, it's never out of cruelty, it's out of covenant. Because when you are chosen, you don't just receive affection, you carry responsibility. And not everyone who feels like love has the capacity to handle that weight. Say this aloud. If heaven closed it, I won't reopen it. Type, I trust God's no, if your discernment now walks ahead of your desire. Beloved, some of you didn't just lose a person. You lost a version of yourself you thought you needed to be, the one who tolerated emotional confusion, the one who gave more than they received, the one who stayed silent in the presence of disrespect just to maintain connection. That self is gone, and that's why the connection collapsed. Because heaven refused to let you keep shrinking just to keep someone else satisfied. Gabriel speaks. Growth and compromise cannot share a home. Let that settle. You didn't lose them. You outgrew the version of you that accepted less. And when you outgrow your cage, it doesn't mean you've become difficult. It means you've become divine. Say this. I am not difficult. I am developed. Type, I won't shrink again if your soul has finally expanded past people-pleasing. Beloved, heaven didn't just end something. Heaven protected something. There was a trap ahead, a cycle, a pattern, a silence that would have deepened into shame. But heaven broke the agreement before it ever became an entanglement. Gabriel warns, some doors feel safe until you see what was waiting on the other side. You think you lost a relationship? No, you escaped a repeat. The kind of repeat that would have cost you your voice, your clarity, your identity. Heaven let it fall apart before it could fully infect you. Say this now. I don't mourn the protection I mistook for pain. Type, covered by closure, if you now recognize that loss was a shield. Beloved, you must understand the season you are in. You are not in waiting. You are in refining. God is not delaying your promise. He's preparing you to carry it without distortion, because the next connection won't just be romantic, it will be divinely aligned, and heaven refuses to send you into something new with wounds that haven't been properly washed. Gabriel continues, some connections are delayed, not because you are forgotten, but because you are too precious to be mishandled again. This is why you've been kept hidden, why your DMs are quiet, why your spirit feels like it's walking alone in a crowd. It's not punishment, it's preservation, because heaven is not sending a partner. Heaven is sending a mirror, and you cannot be reflected in someone if you are still shattered from someone else. Say this aloud: I welcome divine delay, if it means divine alignment. Type right timing over rushing if you've stopped trying to force what God is still forming. Beloved, they may reach out again, they may cry this time, they may sound more convincing than ever, but you are no longer listening with your emotions. You are listening with your discernment, because the lesson wasn't just in their departure, it was in your decision not to return. Gabriel affirms, this door was sealed in heaven, and you are trusted to keep it shut on earth. Let that speak to the protector in you. Let it awaken the part of you that knows you are not just healing for you, you are healing for your lineage. Because what you accept becomes what your children normalize. What you tolerate becomes what your friends learn from. What you entertain becomes what your legacy inherits. Say this now: I break the pattern by refusing to return. Type I end it here if you are committed to being the one who heals what others handed down. Beloved, this closure is a covenant, a sacred agreement between your obedience and heaven's orchestration. And no matter how loud the regret becomes, no matter how convincing the apology may sound, your peace is not up for negotiation, because you didn't just survive, you were sealed. Gabriel declares, you were never abandoned. You were protected in plain sight. And now, the new assignment is on its way. Let the old knock, let the familiar call, let the cycle whisper. But as for you, you're not going back. You're not bending, you're not breaking, you are becoming. And part 4 will show you not only why you were hidden, but what heaven has been building while you thought you were standing still. Beloved soul, you've been asking in silence, if I am chosen, why do I feel forgotten? Archangel Gabriel answers, you were not ignored, you were hidden, not for punishment but for preservation. Yes, it felt lonely. Yes, it felt like you were standing still while everyone else moved forward. Yes, you cried, wondering if heaven went silent. But the truth is, heaven was surrounding you in stealth, because you carry a light that couldn't be exposed prematurely. Say this aloud: my hiding was my training. A type hidden for a reason. If you now see the silence was part of the strategy. Beloved, there are some anointings that must develop in the dark, like a seed beneath soil, like a warrior before battle, like a prophet in the wilderness. Your silence was not absence. It was a sanctuary, a place where God could speak without the noise of others interrupting, a place where your spirit could grow without hands trying to manipulate it. Gabriel speaks again. Some seasons require isolation to unlock identification. Let that settle, because who you are now wasn't built in public. It was built in tears, in fasting, in quiet worship, in saying no when no one else would understand why. You've become unshakable because you learned to stand with no audience. You've become disciplined because you kept showing up when no one clapped. You've become divinely dangerous because silence taught you how to hear heaven with perfect precision. Say this now: the quiet taught me what applause never could. Type sharpened in silence if you know your growth came in the dark. Beloved, people don't understand why you disappeared, why you became less available, why your presence felt distant, but you weren't backing away, you were being backed by heaven. Gabriel says heaven doesn't promote those who seek platforms. Heaven promotes those who protect purity. You stopped chasing, you stopped explaining, you stopped justifying your calling to people who never had the capacity to carry it, and that's when you became dangerous, because true power isn't loud, it's settled. And now, beloved, you are being brought back into view, but not as who you were. You are emerging as the evidence of what God can do with someone who surrendered in secret. Say this aloud. This version of me was born in fire. Type I emerge refined if you feel heaven positioning you for re-entry. But be warned, not everyone can come with you. There are voices still trying to reach the version of you that no longer exists. People who knew the unhealed you, the unsure you, the constantly available you. But heaven is calling for a new boundary. Gabriel declares, don't bring the crowd into a space meant for consecration. Let that be clear, you are not being antisocial. You are being assigned. Your time alone was not rejection, it was selection. Heaven was separating you from distraction, distortion, and dependency. Because what's coming requires clarity. Say this, my time alone was heaven's investment in my clarity. Type no more distortion if you now crave alignment more than attention. Beloved, don't apologize for your separation. Don't minimize your refinement. You're not missing out. You're maturing. And that maturity is what has made room for the magnitude of what's next. Because now you are no longer wondering, why me? Now you're walking in, why not me? Now you understand that what you carry cannot be compromised, that what you've survived has refined your hearing. You don't just speak differently now, you see differently. You discern motives faster. You feel spiritual shifts before they manifest. You sense danger in sweet tones because silence trained your senses. Gabriel affirms, heaven does not hide ordinary vessels. It conceals those who will carry extraordinary mantles. And you, beloved, have been marked to carry something that doesn't just bless you, it transforms others. This is why the warfare was heavy. This is why the tears lasted long. This is why the silence felt suffocating, because the weight you carry now was formed beneath it all. Say this aloud, my weight was formed in the waiting. Type prepared in the dark if your spirit has been sculpted by hidden obedience. Beloved, this is your reintroduction, not to the world, but to yourself, the one who no longer over-explains, the one who doesn't settle, the one who protects peace like treasure, the one who knows the sound of heaven and doesn't question it anymore. Gabriel concludes, you are not coming back, you are coming forward. Let those words land. You're not repeating, you're not circling, you're not trying to recreate what was, you are becoming what's next. And part 5 will show you exactly what heaven has set in motion while you are being rebuilt in the sacred shadows. Beloved soul, there's a reason they can no longer reach you, because heaven has relocated your spirit. They're searching for the version of you that no longer exists. The one who overgave, the one who stayed too long, the one who kept the door open while bleeding. But that version has been buried in favor of the version heaven raised. Gabriel speaks. You've been spiritually relocated, not by distance, but by dimension. Yes, what once touched you now feels far away. What once moved you now feels meaningless. What once broke you now has no weight. Because God didn't just heal you, He upgraded you. Say this aloud. I've outgrown what I used to entertain. Type, I don't live there anymore if your spirit has changed addresses. Beloved, they may still call you by the name you had in your wilderness, but heaven has renamed you in the secret place. You're not Ruth in the field, you're Esther in the throne room. You're not Joseph in the pit, you're Joseph in the palace. You're not still proving yourself. You're not still begging for clarity. You're not still chasing closure. You have entered alignment. Gabriel reminds you, those who walked away from you were never equipped to meet the version God was forming. Let that settle. You've stopped apologizing for how much you see. You've stopped shrinking because your spirit makes others uncomfortable. You've stopped performing for people who only clapped out of convenience. Because clarity has become your covering and peace has become your proof. Say this now. The ones who left weren't wrong, they were misaligned. Type healed through alignment if you finally stop taking it personally. Beloved, heaven didn't just remove people. Heaven removed access. There's a difference because some people were addicted to your presence, but allergic to your purpose. They loved your comfort but rejected your calling. They craved your prayers but couldn't stand your convictions. And so heaven made a decision you were too loyal to make. Gabriel whispers, God will protect your future even if it breaks your heart. And now here you are, no longer grieving what left but guarding what's growing. No longer chasing what left but cherishing what remained. You've become a vault. Not everyone gets access. Not everyone hears your process. Not everyone sees your tears. Because now you've learned that not everyone who asks for your time deserves your trust. Say this aloud. My love is still deep, but it's no longer without discernment. Type, my spirit is gated if you've learned to guard what's sacred. Beloved, there will always be those who try to re-enter once they see your elevation. They'll act like they understand now. They'll speak your language. They'll mimic your movements. But you'll know. You'll feel the distortion in their vibration. You'll sense the inconsistency beneath their flattery, because discernment has become your native tongue. Gabriel declares, your spirit now reads what their mouth tries to hide. And because of that, you are no longer fooled by form without fruit. You are no longer seduced by attention. You are no longer shaken by silence. You are sealed. Say this now. My peace is too expensive to trade for nostalgia. Type, I choose fruit over form if your eyes no longer settle for appearances. Beloved, they may say you've changed. They may say you're cold. They may say you've become distant. But the truth is, you've simply become discerning, and heaven is not calling you back to who you were. Heaven is calling you up to who you were born to be. You are not here to repeat patterns. You are not here to entertain the familiar. You are not here to explain your elevation. You are here to walk. In the fullness of your refinement, Gabriel confirms, you are not obligated to remain accessible to those who misused your open heart. Your growth has created a gap. Let it remain. Your healing has created distance. Let it be holy. Say this aloud. The distance is not punishment, it's preservation. Type, protected by distance. If your space is now sacred, beloved, heaven is not asking you to go back. Heaven is asking you to keep climbing. Because what's ahead requires your full focus. No distractions, no recycled stories, no returning to vomit. You once called nourishment. You are now aware. You are now whole. You are now trusted. And part 6 will reveal what heaven is about to entrust you with and why your new version is being positioned for visible glory. Beloved soul, this is the moment everything begins to make sense. The pain, the silence, the separation, the long nights of asking heaven, why me? Gabriel answers now, because what you carry is not common, and what is not common cannot be released carelessly. You've walked through seasons that should have broken you. You've endured betrayals that should have hardened your heart. You've watched doors close while everyone else celebrated their opening. But through it all, you didn't curse the silence. You didn't collapse in bitterness. You kept waiting, you kept worshiping, you kept walking, and heaven noticed. Say this aloud. Heaven saw what I did when no one else did. Type, I remained faithful if you know obedience was your offering. Beloved, you are now crossing into visibility, not the kind that entertains the masses, but the kind that awakens the right eyes, the ones who carry your next divine partnership. The ones who discern your oil, the ones who see your name and don't question your calling. You are not stepping into spotlight, you are stepping into alignment. Gabriel declares, you are no longer hidden, you are now being entrusted. This new visibility is not about clout, it's about covenant. You will be seen by those who can steward your presence. You will be heard by those who will not misuse your vulnerability. You will be held in circles that don't make you shrink to belong. Because what's coming doesn't require performance, it requires purity. Say this now, I am ready to be seen by the eyes heaven sends. Type, seen with reverence if you're done performing for approval. Beloved, this new season will stretch you, not because you're unprepared, but because you are overqualified. The tests you passed silently have built you for platforms that don't. Just echo your voice, but magnify heavens through you, and this is why your yes mattered. This is why the silence had weight, why the hidden years were sacred, why the pruning felt like punishment, but was actually positioning. Gabriel speaks. Heaven will never elevate what it cannot trust. You are being trusted now, with rooms you didn't lobby to enter, with connections you didn't chase, with favor you didn't manipulate because you waited well. And now your footsteps are no longer soft. They are summoned. Say this aloud. I am stepping into what was always mine, just at heaven's pace. Type summoned by purpose if you no longer force what's ordained. Beloved, there will still be those who try to circle back. Still be voices from old patterns, still be offers wrapped in distraction, but you are not who you were when you once entertained those frequencies. You now move with strategy, with restraint, with revelation, because when you've walked through fire, you learn to discern smoke. Gabriel warns, elevation attracts imitation, but imitation has no inheritance. So let them copy, let them mimic, let them echo your language, but know this, what you carry cannot be cloned. Your weight is not in your words, it's in your wounds, it's in your obedience, it's in the oil that was crushed out of you in private. Say this now, my power is not performative, it was forged in surrender. Type I carry heaven's oil if your strength was formed through breaking. Beloved, you are no longer just chosen. You are now commissioned to walk in boldness, to speak without shrinking, to move without begging, to discern without delay. You are trusted to represent heaven, not just with language, but with living. Gabriel closes with this. You will not have to announce this season. Heaven will confirm it. The doors will recognize you, the rooms will respond to you, the people you are assigned to will find you, because when heaven is ready, nothing and no one can block the release. Say this aloud. I am ready, not just to be seen, but to be sent. Type. Send me, heaven, if you've been waiting for divine activation. Beloved, this is the part where you stop waiting for confirmation and start moving in conviction, because what you prayed for is now praying for you. What you cried for is now calling your name, and what once broke you is now beneath your feet. Welcome to your release. Welcome to your refinement. Welcome to your visible anointing. This is the final chapter before the next divine beginning. Heaven has spoken. Now walk, sealed, seen, sent. Beloved soul, before you step fully into what has been prepared, heaven asks for one last thing. Completion, not in achievement, but in surrender, because this new season isn't about doing more. It's about becoming more still, more rooted, more willing to let go of anything that still clings to the old version of you. Gabriel whispers, you are not sent to prove anything. You are sent to reflect everything God has already placed within you. You are not entering this new chapter with striving, but with stillness, because the anointing that rests upon you now doesn't move with noise. It moves with certainty. Say this aloud. I don't need to prove I'm ready. Heaven already decided I am. Type fully surrendered if you trust the appointment over the applause. Beloved, this isn't just your moment, it's heaven's fulfillment. There were prophecies spoken over your name before you ever felt worthy of them. There were angels dispatched before you even understood the battle. There were scrolls written with your assignment engraved in heaven's ink, and now those scrolls are unfolding. Gabriel says, you are stepping into prophecy fulfilled, not by accident, but by appointment. You will see signs that affirm this next move. Doors that once wouldn't budge will swing open without effort. People you've never met will speak as if they've known your name for eternity. Provision will locate you without you begging or bargaining, because when heaven opens the vault, it flows. Say this now, I step into divine flow. I do not chase, I carry. Type appointed for this hour if you feel the weight of this moment resting on you now. Beloved, you are not lucky, you are positioned, you are not random, you are revealed, and heaven does not reveal lightly. Heaven reveals when trust is complete, so walk boldly, walk sealed, walk seen. And most of all, walk a sent beloved soul. Before this chapter seals, let heaven remind you, you are not entering lightly, you are entering commissioned. You were not just called, you were confirmed. Every tear was counted, every yes whispered in private, recorded, every step you took in the dark, witnessed, and now the covering over your life is no longer one of waiting but walking. You're not searching for signs anymore, you've become one. Say this aloud, I am the proof of heaven's process. Type marked and ready if you feel heaven aligning your next move. Beloved, the doors are not opening because of who you are. They're opening because of who sent you. You carry divine authorization. Walk in it, not with hesitation, but with holy confidence. Because what's ahead is not just for your name, it's for God's glory.